Hello, and welcome to the Health Innovator series. I am Donna Coriel, a board certified internist and the creator of SoMeDocs, and this wonderful space where I have the privilege of highlighting so many incredible physicians that are intelligent and motivated and innovative. And today's guest is no different. We are welcoming Dr. Talia Schwartz. Dr. Schwartz, hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
For sure, for sure. I am very excited to be welcoming Dr. Schwartz because I actually have a past that connects with her. We actually went not only to the same medical school, but we were in the same medical school class.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Schwartz, tell us a little bit about you before we move on to your training.
So I am a mother of three, married to a gastroenterologist, and we live in beautiful Oregon. And we have been here for about 15 years. My experience about a few years ago, which is what shaped my, I think what we're talking about, was I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and just had a, thankfully came through it with, after double mastectomy and hysterectomy and radiation, and came through it, thank God, healthy and thriving. But there were some after effects that, I never really even knew about before. And so that's sort of what motivated me into creating my own business for women like me. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry before becoming a stay-at-home mom. So, I had the time and to think really about what I wanted to create. And now here we are a few years later and making difference in women's lives.
Incredible, incredible. It all starts somewhere. I find that with innovators, a lot of times there is actually a moment that is a definable moment that we recall, right? Like what inspired us to pursue our particular innovation.
Right.
And it sounds like for you that happened.
Yeah, actually I can remember the day because I was at my sister's house and it was the summer after I had completed all my treatment. And I was lamenting the fact that I could not find a bathing suit that fit so I was left with asymmetrical breasts after breast cancer, which is something that many breast cancer survivors, many women who've never had any breast, issues at all, just naturally have breast asymmetry. But it was something that I had never experienced, and I felt really uncomfortable about it, and didn't really want to, be exposed on the beach. And, it seems sort of, when you hear it, it doesn't seem like, something that would really affect your life. But the truth is, when you are feeling young and having gone through something like breast cancer and just on the other side of it, I just wanted to live my life and do the things, go back to who I've always been. And I felt like, it's just this sort of like this kind of screaming issue that I don't feel comfortable, on the beach anymore. And I was at my sister's house and I was saying to her, it's so frustrating because after all that I've gone through, like, this is what I'm left with. It's so frustrating. Of course, thank God, to be alive and healthy, but, I wanted to be able to live life how I'd always done it. And I said to her, I wish I could just design the perfect bathing suit. I know exactly what I would want. I would want, a hidden strap so you can adjust each side. I would want double pocketed so you can, fill it in with the right enhancers. And I had this vision, and I remember the day, saying to her, this is exactly what I'd want to do. And I just did it.
Incredible, incredible. We're going to talk about your innovation in a second also, but quickly, just your training. I know, but just so that people know exactly what your life decided for you.
Okay. So we graduated from medical school and I went to work for Johnson & Johnson in their neurology medical affairs division. And I worked there for several years as a medical science liaison. So helping neurologists get funding and also meeting with key opinion leaders in the field of Alzheimer's in order to get their funding and their studies underway. And so I did that for several years and really loved it. But then when we moved to Oregon, I just found the travel to be just, really difficult with starting with young kids, and decided to stay at home until I felt the time was right to go back into the pharmaceutical industry. But then this happened, and it's really been so gratifying, and I'm just really enjoying it. And so for now, this is what I'll be doing. I think eventually I will go back into the pharmaceutical industry because I really did enjoy it and felt like, making differences, and I really loved it. But for now, I'll be doing this.
Wonderful. And actually we covered this. This would be the next in the line of questioning, but maybe you could pick something else about it before we move on to you, because we want to highlight you as the innovator. So again, anything else about your innovation before we dive into the other, which is you?
It's just, I think what just a general statement is so many people are dealing with issues that we're not aware of on the surface.
Totally.
And I think what I have learned just in terms of, as a mother, as a woman, as a breast cancer survivor, it's all about living a good life, right? In the end.
Yes.
And, I think that has sort of become my new motivation, is bringing this to women who are, quietly uncomfortable in their bodies. And thank God we live in a world today where there's so much focus on body positivity and, just feeling comfortable in your skin. But it's not always possible to feel comfortable in our skin if we have something that really, bothers us and we feel uncomfortable about. So, what I tried to do is kind of bring something to the industry that was, first of all, not present. There's no discussion about breast asymmetry at all, even though like more than 80% of women suffer from it. And even in the process of creating this line of swimwear, speaking with my girlfriends, I never knew that one of my close friends, was born without a muscle on one side of her chest. I have another woman who contacted me about her daughter who's 15 years old, who has, one A cup and one D cup. So, I think that for me, it became more than just breast asymmetry, but really about bringing a product to women who are really have suffered in the past because of their, issue. I don't want to call it a deformity, because it's not necessarily deformity, but something that has really hindered them from being able to feel like their best selves.
Well, I love that point, because you're actually reminding us all that although we think of breast cancer survivors as the true target audience that you're trying to appeal to, maybe because that's what you've personally experienced, I think that there is much broader implications and applicability in that you're saying, first of all, women just have asymmetric breasts. It's normal.
Yes.
Some women probably just have it more prominently than others, and maybe would also be a great target audience for you in terms of your swimsuit and being able to make them more comfortable with wearing a swimsuit.
Absolutely. Our local plastic surgeon, who's my plastic surgeon from my breast cancer days, we've spoken a lot about it, and I consulted with him because I wanted to make sure I was bringing a product that was really for women, for the masses, not just for this small niche group of women who were breast cancer survivors. And he said that one of the biggest issues that women come to him with, who, seeking breast enhancement or reduction, is that their breasts are not the same size. So it's really, it's very, prevalent, but, until now, there really hasn't been anything for these women. And I wasn't looking to become a swimsuit designer or any kind of designer. I just wanted the product, and it didn't exist. Incredible. So,
but that's what makes you so innovative. I love that. You're not even really looking at this as a business initially. Maybe you're just looking to solve a problem that you personally have experienced.
Right. That was nice. Exactly. Yeah. When I first, from the very first stages, I met with a production company. They offered design and production services. And, I said, I'm designing this really for me. And maybe I'll just do one. But then when I spoke about it with women, they were like, no, this is something that a lot
I
of us
love it.
need.
I love it.
So
That is
yeah.
inspirational. Well, we want to know about you, about Talia Schwartz. When you shed the white coat, who is Talia Schwartz?
I think I'm a doer. I've always been a doer. If there's a problem, I like to find the solution. I don't like to talk about it too much. Just move on and find the solution. I'm very goal oriented in that way. But I've also found that I'm not maybe quite as ambitious as I thought I always was, in the sense that, what motivates me now, I think from when I was a lot younger, was just to, live a good life and feel satisfied in my little bubble, rather than feel like I need to conquer, the world.
Right.
And it's interesting because it sounds sort of like an oxymoron. Oh, I just created this company, but I'm not looking to conquer the world. But that wasn't my goal, really. I didn't set out as a businesswoman. And I think I approach life like that as well. Like, I don't, I look at things usually through the eyes of a mother, a wife, a sister, a friend, rather than, a businesswoman or a doctor or what, it's not how I see myself.
Fabulous.
And so, that's sort of always my approach to, I think, life in general, is the human side of it. The rest of it, there are other people in the world to, do all the other sides of it. But that has always really, for the, as far as I can, in my adult life, has been my focus.
It sounds like you're in your comfort zone, and that's just such a beautiful place to be. So run us
Yeah,
through your day. Run us through a typical day. Let me just fix that, if you may. Run
sure.
us through a Talia Schwartz day.
Okay. I'm not a morning person, but I drag myself out of bed at about 7 a.m. Oh gosh, I'm not a morning person. But try to get in some kind of breathing or stretching exercises, especially after having breast cancer. I have some lymphedema, so I have to do some exercises for that. And then I get my kids ready for school. I have 3 kids who are all right now online at home, so
I can identify with that.
that's fun. But yeah, we try to do all our breaks as a family. So lunch is usually together as a family, and often in front of the TV. If we're watching a fun series, we're all like, okay, we have half an hour to catch up on, whatever show we're watching. And then I really love being a homemaker. So I prepare dinner every night. I love to cook. My kids love to cook. We do that together a lot. And then, we eat dinner as a family almost every night, unless someone has something important going on. And we usually cap off the evening with some show. We're watching a great show right now called Your Honor.
Oh,
So
okay. That's
yeah,
great. I
and
don't know it.
yeah, so I mean, but I do find time every day while the kids are on on Zoom and busy, and I'm in between, talking with clients and packaging our swimsuits. I find time to exercise every day, usually yoga, Pilates, or a walk. So I set that time aside every day for myself, which is, I think really important for all of us. I think my kids should take that time for themselves too every day. And, it's just a time to kind of clear head and feel good in nature, and even in the rain. I'll go walking in the rain. I don't care.
Just to walk and clear the
Just
head.
to get out. Yeah.
Right. Well, tell us about an interactions you've had in life that's helped you shape your current venture. And you went over a few earlier, so it's up to you if you know something that maybe if you have experienced something different.
Well, I will tell you, in terms of shaping, I mean, it was already in process, but I mentioned briefly someone who had approached me about their daughter who had, really asymmetrical breasts, and, it's probably something that eventually they'll have corrected, because, it's significant. But I will tell you that was something that really, it happened early on, this interaction. And it really solidified for me why I'm doing this, because, I started this business because of my own issues. And, but when you get into the process of production and development and the design and your mind goes elsewhere a little bit. It's hard to always, remind yourself okay, there are millions of women out there who have major asymmetry that, it's not something that you're thinking about every moment of the day. But when I was contacted by this woman and she shared with me her daughter's story, and I didn't meet her daughter, but she ordered for her, and we had a long conversation about what her needs were and sizes, and, and she shared with me her story and how she never goes out into this, right. And, young teenager never wants to be out there with her friends at the beach, at pools. It really has really kept her back. And knowing, and I said, please be in touch with me. Let me know how things are going. And she said to me, this is the first time she's gone to the beach with her friends.
Oh, beautiful.
She found a way to make it, she put in all the enhancers and found her way to even it out. And, knowing that women are gaining confidence, girls are gaining confidence, that was really something that, really just was the biggest reminder of why I'm doing this.
Totally. It sounds like it's such a great positive reinforcer.
It is. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, what's a really interesting part of your life? I know we spoke about the people that you're affecting, but what's a really interesting part of your life that you are willing to share?
I have to think about this for a minute.
Sure. And we could skip. I mean, we don't have to sort of talk about it. The next question is going to be about coffee or tea. So,
okay. Let's skip this one. I'm going to come back to that.
Sure. No problem. So I ask everybody in this series, are you team coffee or are you team tea? And we want to know, we want to know why, who, what, where, when.
Okay. If I had to choose, I'm going to say coffee. But my coffee choice is one that you will know about. I drink Elite instant coffee, from Israel.
Of course.
Every day. That is the only coffee that I will.
That's an instant, right?
It's instant. It's amazing. And my husband prepares, we're in Oregon, Portland is like coffee central, Stumptown and all that.
Sure.
Yeah. And
I love Stumptown.
Right. And he has, I don't even know, he has like the most beautiful coffee accessories you can imagine. Yes. Glassware. And anyway, and every time I'm like, nope, I'm sorry. Elite every day.
Does he laugh at you? Does he laugh?
No, he knows. I mean, he's like, I know. I mean, we've been together long enough that he.
Right. It's ironic because, right, he sounds like he's a coffee connoisseur, right? And you are drinking the instant,
But funny enough, my friends, whenever anyone comes over for coffee, I say to them, listen, I don't even know how to use all the coffee makers. I'm going to make you my favorite coffee. And literally everyone is like, this is amazing instant coffee.
Interesting.
So,
sometimes simple is just better.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm team coffee, Elite instant coffee. It's not glamorous, but it's delicious.
But it's also honest, and we all appreciate that. All right.
And it's easy, by the way.
Yeah, I love that. Is that something, though, that people can order freely, like from Amazon? I mean,
I order mine on Amazon.
Oh, good to know. I didn't realize. I thought it was like a specialty store kind of thing.
I mean, if you go to like a kosher restaurant, or not kosher, a kosher market, you can find it. But yeah, on Amazon, they sell it.
Good to know. All right. So what is a resource recommendation? And it sounds like you gave us one because TV shows count. But what is a resource just what's a resource that you love?
I mean, I'm not really honestly that big of a TV watcher. It's just that someone recommended Your Honor, and so we've gotten sucked in. It's great.
Is it? Who stars in it?
It's Bryan Cranston.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I've heard about this with his son.
And he's such a master of like a complex character who you love and don't want to judge and can
Right.
relate to, because we're all flawed. And, anyway,
Oh, speaking of we are all flawed, what a great transition. What are your pitfalls and weaknesses? And I'm not asking because I want to highlight them, but because we want to learn from what you've learned from.
Okay. I think, well, in business or
In
life?
anything you want to share with us, in an instance where we can learn from you, learn with you.
Okay. I have learned through life, but also in business, this is a completely new venture for me, not to take things personally. It's usually not about you. It's usually about the person. I mean, sometimes it is about you, but in general, it's not, it's usually about the person. And, and I say this in the sense of, friendships and relationships. Like, we always feel like we're a reflection of what is being told to us or how someone is behaving towards us. And I think I've learned that we are not always a reflection of that. Sometimes it's just the other person, and, you're an easy target, or, it's something there, it's more someone else's issue than you. But that's just a life thing. And I try to teach it to my kids also. Like, you just be the best person you can and know that you're doing what's moral and ethical, and be kind. And, the rest of it is not, we don't have control over other people. We can
Fabulous.
only, change ourselves or monitor ourselves. But even in business, I've learned, like, I've reached out to different companies and tried to, collaborate with different, and, I think initially I'm like, wait, what? They don't want to collaborate with me. I don't understand. I took it really personally. And I had another friend who's a very successful businesswoman say to me, like, listen, do not take it personally. Everyone has their own agenda. Everyone, there's going to be so many feelings of, a personal, like, oh my gosh, they don't want me, and the on the flip side, the wanting to work together and the seeking out that relationship will come, and it'll be even more meaningful. And I found that to be 100% true. In the beginning, trying to, just work with different other, PR, and, just trying to get things going. And it's a learning process. But in the end, I kind of realized I'm not taking any of this personally. It's business.
I love that.
Yeah, so I think that is something that I've found. Also, just to, we don't have to conquer the world in one day. That is something that
Rome
I've
wasn't
learned.
built in one day, really.
No, it was not. And I think when we dream big, we're like, I want the stars and the moon now. And, that's okay, but it doesn't mean that it won't come if it doesn't come in,
all at once.
all
Absolutely.
at once. It's almost better when it doesn't, because there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of responsibility when that does happen.
Of course, and we also learn from our failures. So that's beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
We will close up this episode by asking you for your ask. And that just simply means, what is one thing that you want to ask of anybody who's watching this that they could do for you that will help amplify you or help you and your innovation?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me here, Donna. But it's the same I guess the same ask that you have provided for me is, I'd love to spread the word. So many women suffer from breast asymmetry. Some are not affected by it. Some are affected by it, and in ways that, they would probably never share with anyone around them. So, but if there is a patient or a friend or a family member who does have that, I would love for you to bring awareness of Soleil Rose. We have really tried to curate a beautiful product for women who have breast asymmetry. I was the first guinea pig, but a lot of I've worked now with women, friends of mine who do have breast asymmetry, to find out from them what works, what doesn't work. So it's really evolved into hopefully the perfect combination of what somebody with breast asymmetry would want and need in order to achieve that symmetry and gain that confidence.
Beautiful.
And I did think about what is something interesting.
Okay, wonderful. Tell
So
us.
it kind of relates back to, but my mother was so integral in helping with my recovery. I mean, of course, my husband as well, and my kids, but she came and stayed with us for an extended period of time, so my husband could go to work and the kids would be okay. And anyway, when it all ended after the summer after, I said to my mom, I want to take you on a trip. Where do you want to go? Like, let's go celebrate life and health. And anyway, and so she said, I want to go to the Grand Ole Opry. I've never been to Nashville. And my dream as a little kid was to be in the Grand Ole Opry and listen to country music.
Wow.
So we did it. We went to the Grand Ole Opry, which was amazing. And I don't know if it's really interesting, but I just thought it was a great experience.
It is, and it's so touching. And I've
Yeah,
been to Nashville, and it's just such a fabulous place.
it is,
So that's
definitely.
so nice. And just flashing your website so that people who do want to either support or shop or get in touch with you can find you. So
Thank you,
thank you.
Donna.
Absolutely. Dr. Talia Schwartz, thank you for joining us. Thank you for innovating. And you can find all of Dr. Schwartz's information on our website at SoMeDocs.com under the Health Innovator series. So thank you again, and thank you for joining.